Jaws, Steven Spielberg's masterpiece that basically invented the summer blockbuster. But before that, the production was a disaster. The mechanical shark didn't work. They spent 5 months on the open sea.
The film was 100 days behind schedule. And
they went over budget, chaos, and then the music.
Bomb, 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 bomb.
I didn't even like it when I first heard it. When he played it for me, no, I hated it, actually.
You feel something dangerous is coming your way.
I love it now, it's great. Saved my movie with those notes.
Bum, 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 bum.
But before Jaws, Spielberg was just a kid, a film school dropout with an almost obsessive admiration for film directors. He was so determined to learn the craft that he famously sneaked onto the Universal backlot to observe the masters at work.
I would just watch television shows being shot.
Did you see any filmmakers that you admired?
I mean, my hero, John Ford, will arrive, and he said, "Tell me what you see in that painting." And I said,
2 guys, and they're on horseback, and they're...
No. Where's the horizon?
It's at the bottom.
That's right.
Fine, walk on to the next one.
Where's the goddamn horizon?
It's there.
Where?
At the top of the painting.
All right, get over here.
I stood in front of his desk.
Now remember this.
When you're able to distinguish the art of the horizon at the bottom of a frame or at the top of the frame, but not going right through the center of the frame, you might make a pretty good picture maker.
And
now
get the fuck out of my office.
He even got thrown off the set of Hitchcock's Torn Curtain by crew members. That reverence, that education by observation, would manifest itself years later in Jaws. Think about the scene where Chief Brody sees the shark attack for the first time. The camera zooms in on Brody's face, but the background simultaneously pulls away. That disorienting gut punch of a shot is called a dolly zoom, or a vertigo shot. Yes, that Vertigo, a psychological thriller starring James Stewart. The dolly zoom was initially created for the scene where Stewart's character looks down a spiraling staircase. That feeling of simultaneous push and pull perfectly conveys dizziness and dread. This shot, which was later copied 1,000 times, almost died during production because it was considered too expensive. Here's what the master of suspense said about that scene in the Hitchcock-Truffaut interview.
I tried for 15 years. Had to have it in Vertigo. I said, how much will this cost? $50,000. The camera at the top of the stairs, everything. There are no characters in the scene. It's a viewpoint. Why can't we make a miniature and lay it on its side and pull away from it that way? $19,000.
You see, if Hitch hadn't found a solution for the tower scene in Vertigo, this shot wouldn't have been invented. Without it, the beach scene in Jaws would feel flat. Spielberg borrowed the idea from the old master, elevated it, and made it legendary. But Hitchcock's movies would influence Spielberg's work even more often. If you look closely at the opening titles for Catch Me If You Can, you'll notice the presence of iconic, minimalist kinetic lines inspired by the graphic designer Saul Bass. Most notably his work on The Man with the Golden Arm, or Psycho. But Bass's impact on Psycho was even more direct. He famously storyboarded the infamous shower scene, breaking it down into dozens of quick cuts.
It was so rapid that there were 78 separate pieces of film in 45 seconds.
Hitchcock really took me under his wing on that film and gave me what amounts to an intensive short course in filmmaking. He engaged me originally to design the shower sequence and several other that were crucial to the film. Marty Balsam's murder, the discovery of the mother's skeleton in the chair, and a few other things. And you know, there's nothing that brings out the teacher in someone as a really apt pupil, and by God, I was an apt pupil. In the course of this, when I had doped out these sequences, he was generous enough to say to me, look, you worked it out, go ahead, direct them. Did the sequence, and then he was kind enough to let me work with George Tomasini, who was the editor. Hitch looked at it, and he added 2 cuts. One was a knife in the belly, and then there was a splatter of blood that he put on Janet Leigh as she was being struck.
A visual designer, the man who shaped Janet Leigh, Destiny, the actress who created one of the most famous scenes in movie history, has an intimate relationship with the quintessential slasher film, Halloween, the Scream Queen herself, Jamie Lee Curtis. Janet Leigh's daughter, a mother-daughter duo defining terror across 2 generations, from the original Scream Queen to the ultimate one. But Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't content to stay only in the realm of horror. In fact, her next connection takes us to a film that's truly everything. Jamie Lee Curtis stunned audiences worldwide with her incredible Oscar-winning performance as Deirdre Bowe-Bairdra, the frumpy, perpetually annoyed IRS auditor in Everything Everywhere All at Once. She shared the screen with another actor who made an astonishing, career-redefining comeback in this very film.
And the Oscar goes to Ke Huy Quan.
My journey started on a boat. I spent a year in a refugee camp, and somehow I ended up here on Hollywood's biggest stage.
You may remember him from a long-ago adventure in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. This wasn't just a comeback story. It was a childhood legend who never lost his perseverance. He burst onto the scene as the wisecracking sidekick, Short Round, in a film directed by Steven Spielberg. Spielberg, who started our journey with Jaws.
The film that I thought would end my career is the film that began it.
Spielberg, who idolized Hitchcock, and who, years later, gave Ke Huy Quan his iconic start. And there you have it, 6 Degrees of Cinema. If you have a heart for the movies, like, share, and subscribe. I'll be back.